what I'm going to do. You have your phone?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to send you a photo that I just found of you and me, like years ago. Do you remember this photo? This is just evidence that we actually went to school. In case you get really famous, more than you already are.
Oh wow, be famous! Wow. Oh my, yo.
Have you seen that photo? I mean, I'm loving your scarf.
Wow.
I know! That's a long time ago. That's a long time ago. This was like A-level. This was like year
12.
Year
12.
Year 12, yeah. Yeah, so you have it now. Evidence.
Oh wow, this is so cool. This is so cool.
Isn't it? It's so good to see you, Sedar. Welcome to the podcast. You're so ahead of everything. I just want to know everything that's been happening for all those years. When was the last time we met? So the last time we said goodbye was graduation, which was 2012, right?
No. We met in Arusha.
Yes. Okay, you're right. So we met in Arusha during TED Global. You guys were performing. Vicky Bill was there.
Yes.
And then I never saw you again. Like, I bumped into you and I was like, Sedar, we have to catch up. And you're like, yes, for sure. And then you just left. And I never saw you again.
At that venue, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I think what happened. Open bars are not the best.
Yeah. That did happen quite a lot on that night.
Yeah, then I think the guys also wanted to leave. They didn't want to stay there for too long. So we had to leave so abruptly. Yeah. Like 1 minute, everyone is okay. And then the next minute, like, guys, we need to go. So, yeah, I think that's why everything was just so...
Exactly. And I had planned to see you again during New Year's. And I was so excited to see that Blinky Bill was playing at Kilifi. So my friend and I drove to Kilifi so I can see you. And then you tell me you're in Johannesburg, I think, right? You guys how do you call it when you separate things? Split. You had...
schedule. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Blinky had a really busy schedule at that point because we were playing in South Africa. We played at the Afro Punk Festival, and then he had to come back. Did he come back before us? Yeah, I think he came back before us because he was like, he flew. I don't even know if he landed in Nairobi. He landed straight in Mombasa and then went to Kilifi or landed in Malindi, whatever. So. And he was doing a DJ set, so that's why I guess us guys didn't go. Because Blinky is a DJ, he's now performing, rapper, singer, artist. So so us guys want doing that. Sure. And before I forget, actually you can. So if you want to know a lot more, or if you're having a very loose Sunday, I think at around 9 p.m. he's DJing. He has this, I think it's a new thing, it's called Blinky Bill Radio. So he'll be on YouTube and Twitch, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, he'll be DJing, it's a live DJ set, so tune in. I think it's really awesome. I hope he will be doing it every week because it's really fun.
Yeah?
Like, it's a really fun show, yeah. Okay. And very interactive. I think the artist space, the live spaces have really changed because of the interactions. When people are DJing, so everyone is communicating with each other, and it's just a whole vibe, yeah.
Okay, I will check it out for sure. You said Sunday?
Yes, Sunday, 9 p.m. In case I'm wrong, you can always just check Instagram, Blinky Bill Music, his Facebook as well, his Twitter, yeah.
I will do that. But let's get back to why I wanted to catch up all these years.
Yes.
I mean, of course, I'm doing this podcast to keep myself active when I'm home, and I was consuming a lot of content, And I was like, maybe I should just make content. I think that would just make me less lazy and just going around doing nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of thought of like the few people who are in the creative world, who have become artists, who are creatives, and I know, I mean, it's easy for me to reach out. And of course, you're in the top of my list. I was like, I just want to know what Sedar is doing. Ever since we left Ted Global, and me not seeing you at Kilifi also, because I had wanted to do this catch up at Kilifi. All right, so please start with how you got into music, why the guitar, go way, way back.
This is a long story. Oh my goodness. So sometimes I tend to just go on and on and on.
No, it's okay. That's good.
I try to make it. So, hey, wow. How did I start? So, let me just start by saying I come from a very musical family. My dad and his brothers were musicians in their days.
Really?
Yeah. But they didn't pursue it as much as we did. Like, as much as I did. Let me just say, as much as I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the space wasn't as open. You know, you're talking about the 70s, 80s, into 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the space wasn't as open as it is now,
Mm-hmm.
especially here in Kenya. So they didn't really pursue it, and then they're always being told, you need music. Music is for thugs. There's no career there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so for them, they had to go back to the traditional profession, you know, accountants, bankers, etc. and etc. So yeah, so I picked it up. My dad used to play a lot in the house. And then one day I was just like, okay, let me try this thing out. So now when I went to Lusinga, that's why I picked it up even further, because you know now there's music, there's the music classes, and then there are people who are also playing music there. So you see, the environment was already there, and it was really cool. Like I met people like Lisa. You remember Lisa?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I met people like Lisa, and then we formed a band, and yeah, so we just started playing in school. We'd play for assemblies, we'd play for all the music events that were there. So that's how I picked it up. And then so I play both guitar and bass. Yeah, and so in Rusinga I played a lot of bass. Then I moved to church. I started playing in church as well. I think if you talk to a lot of musicians, hey, that's where we always start. Like, that is ground zero.
Yeah.
So I picked it up from there. Then I think one thing I love about this journey is just networking with people who are like-minded, you know, and because you meet people now who also have their own projects going on, so they call you to play. And then I started out very young, enough, by 13, 14, 15. I was already playing with guys. And then it had just been a series of events and meeting different people. Then eventually, I think the biggest breaking point was meeting now Just a Band. I don't know if you remember. There's a band called Just a Band.
Yes.
Yeah, really cool guys. I think that for me was my breaking. Like, from there, everything just opened up. I think this was 20. In fact, the first time I had a gig with them was our graduation. 2012, yeah. 2012, the day of our graduation. I didn't even stay. After, you know, the guys stay and eat food, nini. I was like, guys, hey, I'm out. I have a gig.
Yeah. Where was the gig? Where was this?
The first gig I played with them was at Allianz.
Okay.
Allianz Francais. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was really cool. I was nervous because here I am in my, I wasn't even 20, I was like 18 or 19. And I'm playing with, like, first of all, I was a fan of Just a Band. And then the next thing, I'm playing for them.
How did they connect with you?
Well, okay. So the guy who used to play saxophone for them, I met him. So I played with another band, another artist called Eddie Gray, and in his unit he had a saxophonist. So the saxophonist was friends with guys of just a band.
Okay.
So one day he was just like, So one day he was just like, yo, what are you doing in the life? I'm like, you guy, I'm just chilling in the house. What do you mean? Hey, come, I introduce you to someone. So the next thing I knew, I was at their house and we were just hanging out, and I jammed with Blinky, because Blinky was like the musical frontman. So Just a Band was not just music. There was so much to it. There was like, one is an animator, he's called Daniel Muli. There was Jim Chuchu, who was also in music and film as well. And then Bithi Marcia, who's also into film. So it was a whole collective, not just music. And so I met these guys, and it was just, wow, I think it really changed my life. So I met with Blinky, then we chatted, and then like a few days later, I was like, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, easy. I was so nervous. I'm like, it's Blinky, yo, just like, yo, so we have a gig at Allianz, and then another gig that would you be available? I'm like, yeah, of course. I had to come. So like, yeah.
Let me check my schedule. I'll get back to you.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm in school. I have graduation, but at the back, I can't even miss this graduation. Like, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Graduation. It's just a band.
Yeah, it's true.
Please, guys. Yeah. So I met Blinky. Just a band. Had a good run until they took a break, because everyone wanted to do their own individual projects at some point. And then that's something else you should check out. Like, if you can look for Bithi Marcia, Daniel Muli, Jim Chuchu,
and what they're doing now, right?
And what they're doing now, I think it's really cool. Like, of course, it's arts oriented, and but it's amazing stuff. These guys were just ahead of the game in years back. Because I'm looking at some of the stuff guys are doing now is stuff they used to do then, but I feel like the space hadn't opened up yet. So they were like they laid the groundwork for things that are happening now, like in the art scene, especially here in Kenya. They don't get a lot of credit. I know it might sound like I'm being biased, but if you look at it from an objective opinion, they really laid some groundwork for the art scene here in Kenya. Like, it's really dope. Like, look at, guys are into film, guys are into animation. Like, now so many people have popped up, but I'm like, this used to happen years back, So basically that's how I ended up just meeting these guys.
And so when you left Rusinga, you pursued it full time?
So when I left Rusinga, I don't know if I can say full time, because I still used to work. Like, I started teaching guitar. I went back to Rusinga to teach guitar. Yeah. Then I'd have gigs here and there, Then I joined uni. Like, after we graduated, like a year and a half after, I joined uni. So I don't know if I can say if I was doing music full time, but it occupied a lot of my time.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah. A lot of my time.
Okay. Okay, good. And then when did you then make it full time? What happened that then you joined? You didn't join the band. You paid for them, but like, because I think now it's full time, right? So when was that? What was the breaking point for you to decide? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do now. I mean, do you still teach?
No, I stopped teaching because now when I joined uni, my schedule also changed because uni, what used to happen is there were very specific hours for teaching, like especially at Rusinga, either break time or lunch time or after school. But for me, that's when now I had morning classes, one afternoon class at like 1, and then so by the time I'm done with all that, like I didn't have time to go back and teach. So what I was left now was just school and gigs, because the good thing with gigs are in the evening, and even practice schedules, guys are flexible, so you find guys have practice in the evening. So it made it a bit better. It made it easier for me. So from school, after school, I'm like, okay, let me go for my practice or let me go for my gig. Yeah. Full time. Wow. When did it become full time? I think. I still don't want to say it's full time completely, like 100%, because again, I've been in school. So now there's that balance of you in school and then you have gigs.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as I said, it occupied a lot of my time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd go for tours in the middle of the semester, and yeah, like in the past 4 or 5 years, it's been hectic. It's taken me a while to finish school because so what happens is we have 3 semesters and 1 is optional. So the optional semester is when I had like gigs. It was summer. And summertime is when now there are gigs abroad and all those things. So that's the time I used to think out to just go and rock out.
What's your most memorable event or gig you did? I saw on your Instagram that there was one where you met David Beckham and you had like a long caption about how mesmerizing that was. Was that the one or?
Well, do you know, funny enough, like I missed that gig. Like these guys, so it was Blinky Bill who had the gig, so it was the keyboardist and the drummer who went. I missed that gig. What was I doing? I had another gig.
Okay.
Yeah, so but I was so sad. I was like, yo, it's David Beckham. Yeah, the way these guys explained it is like, they're just doing their thing as usual, and then suddenly you're seeing bouncers around and like, what's going on? And then the next thing, it's David Beckham. Yeah, but I mean, it's been such a privilege because like maybe I didn't meet David Beckham, but I've met so many other like amazing people throughout the journey.
Of course.
I've met Angelique Kidjo.
Yeah.
I've met I met a guy called Jamie Cullum, and just other musicians, amazing musicians out there, just from these tours and stuff like that. So my most memorable though was, when was it? I think it was Angelique Kidjo, because so we went for playing at Yale University, and they had this it was called the African Salon thing. It was just for like based on African art or Black American art, stuff like that. So it was really cool. We got to meet East Africans who are in Yale, and them telling us the story of being in an Ivy League school. Yeah. And then the next thing we're being told, Angelique Kidjo, her daughter is in Yale. So the day of the performance, we're told, so guys, don't freak out, but Angelique Kidjo might just come in for the show. And I'm like, what?
And then she came and she spoke to you. Because you're right, I saw a photo. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
I'm telling you, like it was just... So 1 minute we're doing our music and we're playing, just doing our thing. Like the thing is, as much as we know, like, and not like from a humble place, like we've played at big stages, but we don't go there thinking, so and so is here, so and so is here. When you're doing your art, you're just doing your art and you're giving it your very best, regardless of who's watching. You just want to give it, and share your story. So we are just doing our thing, and then the next thing, you just see this lady jumping on stage, and she starts dancing. Yeah!
Wow!
In our set, Angelique Kidjo just gets on stage, and she just starts dancing, and we were just like, what on earth is going on? I almost threw my bass on the ground. 'Cause we're like yeah, so I mean, I think for me that's one of my most memorable moments, because this is someone we've grown up listening to, our folks have grown up listening to, and I thought she's a legend, And then 1 minute you're hearing about her, the next minute she's coming to tell you guys, yo, you guys, your show was fantastic, and you're like, wow, for me it was really beautiful. It was amazing.
Yeah, it sounds like. Well,
I have a question before we continue.
Yes, of course.
Like, for you, I know, yes, even when we sing that, they were like we could tell you were very happy, but we didn't know to what extent. Yeah, I think you used to write a lot.
Yeah, you wrote a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. So at what point did you feel like? First of all, what did you study after when you left high school, and how did you end up now being in the creatives industry full time?
Great question. When I left university. No, when I left Rusinga, I did biochemistry in university. So I went to South Africa, and I was at Nelson Mandela Metropolitan with Hatibu. We were together.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I did that for about 3 years, but then towards the end, I was like, oh, this is not what I want to do. Yeah, it was a tough time. A lot of things had contributed to it. I went also to South Africa in the height of xenophobia, like xenophobic attacks, and so it was really unstable. I even had to switch universities. I went to one university that was in like an all black community, and but it was a lot of there was a big population of Zimbabweans at that time, and then that was the year that there was a lot of violence against them. Anyway, so after that year, I shifted. So already it had started on a bad foot. I was like, do I really want to spend the rest of my years here? And then on top of that, I go, so obviously then I joined Hatibu in the other university, and it was great, it was fantastic. Port Elizabeth is very beautiful, but then the classes weren't giving me the same vibe. So I was like, oh, okay, let's just move it along. And then, at some point I was just like, I think I should really just be writing. I didn't know, like it's not like I wanted to publish a book, or I just knew that I wasn't going. I didn't want to be in that field even after graduation. So I left. I just came to Arusha, and I didn't know I didn't know even that the annoying artist was going to be a thing. I started a little bit with teaching. To occupy my time, I started teaching kids in the neighborhood that I was living. So these kids would just, I would know them as I visited home from university during holidays. And this time when they realized that I was back for good, it just became a thing where I would just teach them all day. And I would teach them all these creative things. But really it was to kind of like figure out what it is that I'm doing, what it is that I want to do. I also saw my creativity in a lot of things through that practice. Like it kind of reminded me of how many other things I can do in terms of creativity, not just writing. And so, but by that time I had written so much already, and I kind of wanted to, because I was in Arusha full time, I wanted to share my writing. I didn't know how to start, so I moved around looking for like places where people do these things on the regular, and they just weren't, because of course it wasn't like a smooth transitioning, like coming from university and coming back and being like, I don't, so it was rough. So I wanted to express that somehow. I wanted to just be with different people, new people, get a feel of what Arusha is. Because if I'm gonna be here for a while, I kind of have to integrate and not just be hiding myself in the outskirts of Arusha.
Yes.
When I found out that there aren't those regular places or things, I just decided to summon people to come and listen to me by force. So I saw somewhere that Childish Gambino got his nickname from an online name generator called the Wu-Tang name generator. So I was like, let me go to the Wu-Tang name generator and just type in my name, and see whatever comes in, I'll just use that as my name in Arusha now, or whatever it is that I want to do. And the Annoying Artist was the first one. So I was like, okay, we do that. And so then the Annoying Artist was born. I didn't know, even when I got the name or whatnot, I didn't know what it was going to be about. I knew what my first show, I wanted my first 2-3 shows to be about. I wanted them to be about me being on stage, blurting all this really bad writing. I mean, it's obviously gotten better, I would hope. Anyways, at the time, I was proud of it and I liked it and I wanted to share. So yeah, I summoned people. The first show didn't work out, but the second one did. Slowly it became this thing that I think the Annoying Artist is really just about me exploring all my creative sides and bringing people together to do creative things after every 6 months, because it's not the same, I'm not doing the same thing that I was doing in 2017 when I started. So it started as me only, and then I would bring school kids and students to share to the community, and then I started rotating around, so I wouldn't do only one venue or just move around, so that would also just bring people to knowing different places in Arusha, as I also discovered different spaces in Arusha. So that went on for a while, and then I switched to visual artists and bringing them in, and also me just seeing how I can express myself through different mediums. And it was just experimenting under the Annoying Artist name. And I think I really like the name The Annoying Artist because, if I'm fucking up and if it's not that good, it's kind of in the name. I'm annoyed, it's not the perfect artist or the the really good artist. It's just someone who's just neither here nor there, which gave me, I think the name gave me a lot of freedom to be very experimental until now. And so that's how I found myself. I wanted people to listen to me. I did that, and then and then it just
by force, by fire. By force, we are gonna listen. By force, by fire.
Yeah, in the beginning it was like that. Yeah, because I was really going crazy. It's just I was home. I didn't know what. It was just a whole thing. I was I just need to go out and do this thing. And so, yeah, each year it's been different, or every 6 months it's been different. And here we are. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, wow. It takes such a short, it's 4 years or whatever years, but such a short time for you to realize that, wait a minute, this, what we want to study in uni is not necessarily what you want to do eventually, And I wish we had that feeling from the word go. You know what I'm saying? But it's also, I feel this whole thing is a process. For you to discover that you didn't want to do this other thing, you had to go through it.
Yeah.
No. So just listen to that. It's really amazing. And you're going into an area, I don't know how the art scene is in Arusha, but it's really brave of you to just go and say, you know what, whatever, I'm going to do it.
I wish it was as vibrant as I am seeing Nairobi is. Obviously, I've been talking to visual artists also in the podcast who just make it sound amazing, which is true. I think it's just more vibrant. So yeah, I mean it's fun. I haven't seen it as taking any risk really. I think it's just fun and I get to meet a lot of people and I get to the thing is that I do it all by myself, so I call the shots. So I can really literally just do anything. I'm not under any, you know what I mean? Like a lot of other art projects have restrictions and but it's really fun when it's you and so you can get together with people and just go mad. Yeah, and there's no deadlines, and there's no like you have to do a report on why this street art project or. I mean, I think I really love that, and it's made me be able to find such cool people like Tanzanians who are willing to support such things. There is really cool people who would like to support these community things and wish there was more of that, which is great because I went into it thinking maybe it'll just be me and like knocking on people's door like a Jehovah Witness, like please believe believe in what I'm saying. But it was people just came. Yeah, but it was very natural, so it's good. It's good. What have you gathered from now being well traveled and having done all these gigs and being in this creative world for a while? Have you gathered that makes practicing music or the music scene in Kenya different from the rest of the world or the rest of the world different from Kenya? Like, do you ever compare it?
Yes. Natural.
Yeah.
Naturally, because the experiences are different. Maybe I'll speak from like an instrumentalist perspective. In terms of equipment, stages, and how things are run, I think out there, I think things are more. I'll try to find a polite word.
I know. I don't discriminate you. I'm sorry.
My people come for me. But no, I think it's okay. I feel like they've had a head start in terms of technical aspects of some of these things. And you find maybe the government support for the arts and people are just really into it. For them, it's a hobby, it's a business, it's something serious, it's a whole profession. And people respect it, the people around there, the crowds respect the artists and stuff like that. Now is when it's picking up, I think here in, let me just say in East Africa, generally, it's picking up slowly by slowly. The only problem is that here we don't have proper structures. Let me give you an example. So the other day when our president said, okay, so they're going to release funds for artists, blah, 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 blah. And the Kenyans are like, these guys just entertain us, that we don't need entertainment right now, we need things to be sorted out, And I was just like, don't these guys understand that what we do is actually a profession? Like we do things professionally. It's a job like any other. Maybe the working conditions are just different, and maybe what we do is just different from other professions. But we are still professionals in whatever we do. Out there, I think there's more respect for artists. So you see, like now, a lot of governments out there really supported their guys. Once this COVID thing came out, they're like, okay, we'll release funds for people, for the ordinary Monanchi, and then now even artists, because they like out there, guys really depended on gigs and. That's where the life was. So all this is cut. Guys don't have a stream of revenue or income. So that's one thing I noticed. The other thing is, people really show up for these shows. Wow. Regardless of where you're from. I remember there's a show we did in a place called Corsica. Corsica is an island. It's a French island. Like it's somewhere. And the only other artist who was coming to perform, we didn't know, was a French artist called Jane. So it was us and Jane. But there were thousands of people at that venue. And they stood there and they supported and they loved every minute. Some of them, because these are guys who don't even know who, let's say, Blinky Bill is. They've never heard of it. But they stood there, they enjoyed they cooperated, they danced. There was a language barrier, serious language barrier, but they still enjoyed. And so it also showed me that, sometimes this music thing or this art thing, I don't necessarily have to speak your language. Like my art, my music will communicate itself. It's like an invisible language. Yeah, I guess I can say that. Like an invisible language. Here, it's difficult. Guys, really, it's either guys, okay, it's changing, the scene is changing, but people are used to listening to what they know from based off the radio. So if your stuff is not being played on the radio and you come and you hold a gig, guys will be like, guys won't show up, and but out there it doesn't matter. Oh, there's a show tomorrow. Where? Oh, okay, Blinky Bill, okay. Maybe you'll find they'll even go and research and go and listen to the music, to the guys' music, and then just show up for the gig and guys have a good time. That's another thing I noticed. Yeah.
Because I want to know more about the music industry in Kenya. Is there a way that the more achieved Kenyan musical artists, what are the ways that those guys support upcoming or work with, I guess, underground or upcoming artists? Is there some sort of unity, or is there that thing of like, since tumefika huku you guys struggle yourself, and like, is there some sort of like, okay, I help you, let's do this? Because someone I think was making fun, I don't know, maybe we can edit this out if I'm being blasphemous, but like someone was making fun of that for a very long time they were just making money, making music and going up there and not really doing anything for the rest of the people, and then people talked about them so much that then they opened, I think, or something like this. Is this true, or are there any efforts, or in your opinion, do you think that's necessary?
Before, it used to be like that. It used to be like, sisi tumefika, nyinyi hamjafika, mjipange. But over time, we've seen such a huge shift that upcoming artists are really being supported. Let me give you an example. Gengeton. Gengeton is like a new genre in Kenya of these young kids who just come up with crazy music. The groups like Ethic and who are these guys? I'll try and send you links.
Okay, great.
After, so it's just a whole genre, new genre of music that just took the industry by storm. And these are guys who no one knows about them. No one had ever heard anything about them. It's just one day a video is released on social media, it goes viral, and boom, these kids now are huko on top of the food chain. They become really big. Yes, before it was really difficult. Like, the bigger artists would have their shows, and it was rare to hear collabos with them doing collabos with guys who are maybe upcoming. But I guess now, because let me tell you, social media, the internet has really changed how people consume music, how artists work, relevance also. So you find a lot of artists have been pushed to now work with these other guys. Like, there are some who want to remain relevant, and one way of remaining relevant is working with people who are currently relevant at the moment, But again, I think there's also just a shift in attitude, because people are now just realizing, we just need to work together. And there's a lot of great stuff. There are a lot of great artists doing a different kind of music, but we need to work together. As I said before, I think social media has really changed, because everyone has access to your music, as long as you make it available. So you find even this thing of, this guy is a big artist and this guy is a small artist. With time, you'll find guys are like, that might change, and they'll just be like, I'm just consuming what I want to consume. And so your artist, the artist that you like, is big in your own, the way you view it, and it's not based on what everyone else is saying. A lot of times everyone used to say, so and so is big, so they're big. It was a group consensus. But now, because there are all these different avenues, guys have access to individual artists, and so you'll find big is becoming relative. It's becoming a relative. But now the space is opening up. About I don't know. I cannot confirm or deny. But I think what they're they're doing is really cool. Giving these younger guys who are equally as talented, a space to just do their thing. And I think it's amazing. I listen to some of the music and I'm like, wow. Like a few years back, it was always the same 5-7 artists who ran the whole industry. But now we are so many of us, which is great, because now with time, then we'll be forced to now come up with these structures that will now make the industry even stronger.
Yeah, so, I think it's really important to always remind yourself for you to be able to like create space for others. I had a question about the splitting thing. So when you're not playing for Blinky Bill, you're doing your own music and your own shows, right?
Okay, for me personally, I don't have my own music out yet, but I record for other artists. So I've played on other people's records. So for now, that's how I'm establishing myself. Maybe later on, I might just write my own music. I don't know. For me personally, as an instrumentalist, I find it hard. I don't know if there's that space. Okay, it's probably there, but you really have to fight for it for you to become like your own artist as an instrumental. Because people are still so used to a rapper or a singer, But if it's just a drummer or a bassist who has his own music, it's tricky here, let me just say. So when I'm not playing for Blinky, I'm either recording for people, or I just play with other units. Like guys come up with units, maybe it's a corporate function or it's like a show. So just before like this whole COVID thing, there's this lady called June Gashui. She's really big when it comes to the entertainment scene. She does big gigs, like we were doing a tribute for Stevie Wonder. Just before this thing, we had started practicing, we were ready. So the unit I was working with is totally different from the unit I work with Blinky Bill. For me, that's how I'm operating. So more of just a recording basis and guitarist, and maybe in the future, I think it's a battle. It's a battle. I don't know if you go through this of where you sometimes there's that self-doubt of like, will people like this stuff? It's different. It's you look at the trends that are there. I know guys say don't look at the trends, but you'll always have that incline, like, hey, I have to follow trends for this thing to be pushed out there. So we end up falling into that trap. So there's stuff, but in the future, I think next year, once things I think have stabilized in Mini, I think it's time to work on my own project because I'm not growing any younger also.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially this time where it just reminds people that you could go anytime, and not to be like bleak or whatever, but people that I've talked to, I just think people are saying that they've just been thinking, Sasa, those things that I've been writing for my closet, or like for the four walls, that like, why do I still have them? You kind of think that once it's out there, people don't like it, people like it, you made it, this is your creative, it's subjective, you made it, you took time, you like it, you're the most important audience. So even if there's like 100 of Sedars out there who relate, that's fine, that's enough. I think we're coming to that topic. I wanted to ask how personally this lockdown has affected you, your creation, your perspective, your ambitions, if it has at all.
Again, so this at the beginning of the year, like there were so many plans that a lot of us had made, musically, not just personally, but musically. Like there's a group of friends where we wanted to form a band, and there were all these gigs that had been planned for, a bit of traveling here and there. So like 1 minute it's all in place, the next minute everything is shut down, like it's a wrap. And for us, like we can't do our thing without a crowd, and that's the first thing they stopped. I remember the last thing I did was I had a workshop. I carried out a bass workshop, like a day before everything to do with music or crowds gathering was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my thing and I knew, this is cool. Okay, hey, I can't wait to just see whatever the rest of the year has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, because it was a 3-day workshop, so the next day guys are having their own individual workshops there, same thing. And then the government guys just come and say, yo, no, shut this thing down, like immediately. We are not compromising, nothing. Switch it off.
Wow.
And that was it. Like, if there's an industry that's really been affected, is the music industry. Music industry, clubs, like, because it was sudden. Like, there's no time to, okay, let me gather my things. No, it was just like, yo, sorry. So for me, there was that aspect of gigs are cancelled, but even in terms of like my creative process, I really, and I shared this I think on Twitter, I said that sometimes when it comes to like now what we do, the best is brought out through other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're good at what you do, but there's a different angle, like there's a spark that's ignited when you're working with others. Like for me, I thrive off like maybe a drama can have this thing and just something just comes up and it's just wow. But now I'm locked in my room, walls as you say, with just my bass or my guitar. There's only so far you can go. You can't be like, hey, you guys, let's meet up. I have this idea. You can't do that anymore. You can't meet up with guys you used to jam with. In terms of finances have been cut. Fortunately, I'm still staying with my folks, so at least there's a bit of a cushion. But I really think about my friends who moved out and they were doing their own thing and everything was on music. Music. So I asked myself how these guys pay their rent, and sometimes it's really hard for people to come out and actually say things are tough. So I really feel it for the people who are not in a situation like mine where I'm staying with my folks and there are things that are being provided. Some of them have families, you have kids, school fees, or rent, nini. And so it's been really tough. But even for me personally, there are things I'd have wanted to buy. I wanted to buy equipment this year, invest in a studio, but now I can't because the little that I had saved, you just don't know what the future holds. So you'd rather save that money and keep it for an eventuality, an emergency, than spend it on the equipment you wanted to buy and not using it. And just even mentally, the fact that you can't meet with people, it's draining. It can be depressive sometimes. There are days I don't even want to see my guitars. Like I just look at them and I'm just like, yuck. Because where are you going? What is the end game? Where's the end goal? Like everything has just changed. You don't know again what is the future like. What if whatever you've been working on or planning is just useless? It's just been in vain. Those are some of the thoughts that I have. Mentally, it's draining. Even physically, you want to go out. Sometimes, again, you get inspiration from all sorts of things, all sorts of places. But now you can't. You're living almost in paranoia because you're like, this person coughed.
Right.
Now I won't be able to play my music again and stuff like that.
I heard that there's a 6:00 curfew.
Yeah, again, there are a lot of unknowns with this thing. Okay, what we know it's infectious and you don't know who has it. So we can go out, yes, but it's a very big risk. You don't want to be the one who has infected your family. I think the fear of the unknown is what's keeping people at home and just trying to follow government directives. Yeah, but let me say something though.
Yep.
About I feel like there are different periods or seasons in this whole thing. Like for me, I'm really primarily I'm a bassist, but I also play guitar. But lately, I've just been playing a lot more guitar than my bass. Like I'm falling in love with it. I'm seeing a different side to what I can do with my instruments or my music. And I even have time to just listen to a lot more music now. Because I feel like as musicians, one way of growing is also just listen to what other people are doing. Because a lot of times we are so immersed in our own stuff. Just listening to our own stuff, we're just doing our own stuff. But sometimes it's important to just shut up to the mouth and just listen to and just listen to what other people are doing. There's a lot of great stuff out there. The podcasts that people are discovering, so I think that's the beautiful thing about all this. Now you have time to be with yourself and fight all the battles, all the demons.
It's true.
And just discover a different side of you, a different side of your creative side.
Although you do have to have been the person who is able to accommodate that, because if you're like all you have to do is just be by your phone being there, you're not going to be like, this is the time to grow, this is the time to actually shut it down. You think your brain tells you, okay, so more time to be on my phone, that's great. But then I'm happy that I'm also the type of person who, prior to this, I would do things like switch off the phone or be with myself. Really love doing that. And I think creatives, and this is why I wanted to make this podcast about creatives, I think we really value and cherish our time alone. It is a plus. I agree with you.
It makes sense if you tell people, okay, I'm going to lock down the county or the county, Nairobi County, but we're going to do A, B, C, D, and these are the plans for us to reopen it. But there's no, we are all just in limbo. Okay, people are being tested, confirmed cases, treatment, recoveries, a few deaths, but then, okay, what next? So I think that's what's really the uncertainty. I think that's terrifying. How long is it going to take? Because you can't keep locking down, because the president locked down Nairobi the first time. Then he said, okay, we are extending the lockdown period. And then probably he'll say the same thing again in a few days to come. So I have a question for you. You're not staying with your folks. How are you supporting yourself financially, and what do you do when you go through these periods of...
So I have to correct you there. I am at my folks. So I'm at the school compound where it was being built, and we have a home there. I'm here now. And so there's also a little bit of construction going on, like finishing. I wouldn't say construction. Construction sounds too busy. There's a busyness around. I'm in the procurement place. So I told you that I was buying things today. Yeah, so I get things for fundis and things like that. So that keeps me active. So the home is active, we're still... it's kind of like I'm also an employee here. So I live where I work, counting my blessings, and I understand how privileged I am to be in this position where I'm still doing my projects also. I mean, but through the kindness of people like funding or... it's been a lucky time where I can be safe but be active as well, That was the correction that I wanted to make there. I feel like the world would just have to completely restart in 2021. It's just mumbled up, even like schools and curriculums and how that works, and like the first term and the exams, the national exams, and because everything is intertwined, and then the offices and the government offices, and then the processing of these papers and things have just... I mean, hopefully the opening up will happen, but I think getting every system back into line, I think we're looking at 2021, but I don't know. How's family? How's your brother?
Hey, my brother is okay. Just doing, he was also part of the creative industry. As a chef, he's a chef. And but things also kind of slowed down. So everyone is just in that state of just waiting. My mom is still teaching, by the way.
Great.
She's been working from home as well. It's difficult because of Wi-Fi. It went off completely, and my mom was getting so frustrated. She was like, she can't teach her students because 1 minute you're teaching and a few minutes later the internet is down, or it's always one thing or the other. So she was like, by the way, we've had it, cheers, so we'll get another one. So I just hope it's not just because it's day one and there's consistency.
You're right. It's a good point you're making there. There is importance to having Wi-Fi. People are depending it to carry on their lives. Like if your mom is still teaching through that, that's an important thing. And people should just realize that like you can use this connectivity and being like remaining to be connected wisely and choose to better yourself. Like it's not just about, oh, now I can go to Pornhub for 3 hours and just waste my life. I mean, you can do that on like a Sunday. The rest
Sunday, jeez. Remember the Sabbath day.
Okay. Okay, Wednesday. It's still not Wednesday. But yeah, we can't be having that. It's lovely that you've made that point. It reminds me that, oh yeah, of course, this is not just for Instagram.
Do you, let me just say the creative industry in first of all, how big is it? And not just music, because music we know. Woo! Hey, your people have rocked this globe.
It's true. It's true. We are really good at music.
But in terms of, but what about the rest of the industry? Because it's not just music. There's so much more. How is it? Are you guys embracing digital avenues and stuff like that?
To be honest, it's very quiet if it's not music in Tanzania, you know? In my opinion, I could be corrected if I'm wrong. Talking to people who are visual artists or hearing their stories, it's just really, again, about survival. Because, you know, people just don't consume that kind of... we're just not, as a people, I say in the majority, Tanzanians, we're not accustomed to getting something from visual art, you know, appreciating it fully, really, and giving it your time. Apart from, you know, it's a night out on an exhibition and, you know, once in a while. I think we are more stimulated with entertainment, I would say.
I mean, but you know, I don't know, maybe this is to encourage you that you see what you're doing. If you look at like now, even us as here in Kenya, before, yes, it was just music. It was just music that was now the creatives, you know, but with time, people started opening up to other ideas, to the visual arts, to all the other things. But it needed pioneers. So think of it as like for yourself, keep going, because you just never know. And you see the thing now, again, because of globalization through the internet, you never know who's watching, you never know who feel like, wow, okay, this thing, it's not as big, but it's there, and it's there. Maybe I can come and help out or do something. There are always people who are watching. That's one thing I've realized. In whatever we are doing, whatever arts we're in, spoken word, visual, there's always someone. There are always people who will just be like, okay, right, this is cool.
It's true.
I mean, again, I'll use just a band. These guys, when they were doing their thing, they were just doing their thing for fun, and whatever they were doing was just, I think it was revolutionary here, but people hadn't noticed. It's now that when you look back, you're like, wait a minute, these guys were actually the pioneers of some of these things. Like the film industry, it took a while. Like, even the way people create music right now, you can tell the influences of these guys. So again, it's just to encourage you, like, you just keep going.
Yeah, thank you.
I know the space there, it might take a while, you never know, but for sure.
I would really love to, I mean, I don't know if they have time or whatever, or they even know who I am, but these are the type of people who I would really love to speak to. These people who have a lot of ideas, they want to execute a lot, and I relate to that kind of energy, because I think I have so many ideas of things that I want to do, and I love when I don't have to explain why I'm doing so many things. Because when you have a conversation with people who do that and love that and embrace that and execute on that, it feels like home. You're just like, oh, this is normal. Like being multidisciplinary or multidisciplinary. Okay, yeah, doing multidisciplinary things is like sorry, doing a lot of things is not.
It's okay. I said the same thing.
Exactly, it's not indecision. It's not knowing it. I don't like that response of, Sasa, you are doing this thing today and then you're doing another thing the next week, and then for me it's such a hostile situation. Like I don't like that. I just want to be around people or talk to people who are just like, whatever, man, as long as whatever it is that you're picking up there, you see to the finish, you do your best and you do it for you, and it's very fully articulated and you put it out there. Like, don't worry about the trends, don't worry about like focusing on, if that's not your thing, don't worry about focusing on one thing. And so these are the people that I'm really searching for to have conversations with, because it feels really, really good to be around the same type of thinking and energy and
actually, you know who you should look at? Annette. You remember Annette?
Yes.
Annette is into film production, so I think you guys would really have an awesome time.
You know what? Okay, if Annette is listening, she can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we did a film together in high school. I think she had asked me to come and act. I went to her house or something.
Yeah.
And she gave me a few lines and I just acted. And I can't remember, but I think it was Annette. And it makes sense that she's in film because she was doing that way before. Yeah. Actually, filmmakers are the people that I want to talk to also on how they manage to make things now. Okay, great suggestion. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Sedar, any fun things you want to tell me?
Fun things.
You know, I tried the guitar for a while.
Yes. How did it go?
It was good. I like finger picking a lot. I like patterns, those patterns and stuff like that. I don't like strumming. I don't know why, but I don't like strumming. It was really good. I think I'm good at making tunes and making... When I was learning guitar, I realized how impatient I was. I would listen to a YouTube video teaching me a tune from some song. And then from that, like halfway through, I'm like, oh my God, I have the best tune out of this. And then I'll completely forget to finish the YouTube. And maybe this is common to everyone else as well. And so I would just from one thing, make like 3 other tunes and really, really get into that. And then do another thing. And then, but then I think I got caught up in something else and then it's just there, sitting there. But I really think music, and because I think I had learned it so that I can accompany it with my writing and my performances, because I thought maybe it was just too quiet. And it worked out pretty well. But immediately I stopped. I went into other projects where they're not performing. I kind of put down the guitar. But I will come back.
Yeah, I mean, there's time. There's the thing, some of these things.
Yeah.
There's no at the age limit. There's no at the it's too late. And I feel like that applies to just the arts in general. Like a lot of times we always think like, hey, now I'm too old to pick up this thing. No. Just pick it up at whatever stage in life.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard of how even there are people in their 60s who just started drawing. They're like, one day I'm retired. So,
what are the other things that you do apart from music? Like, are you into pottery? Do you knit?
Stuff. Like artsy things.
No, it doesn't have to be artsy thing. It can be farming, whatever. Like, is it always music for you?
Now again, I feel like this period has shown me that it's not just music. It's a downside and an upside. The downside is realizing that right now where we are at, because we don't have proper structures and it's a very unstable industry, you have to, like, for me personally, I have to figure out maybe a plan A. Music might actually be my plan B.
Yeah.
But I feel like I know, yeah, controversial, but music for me personally, might just end up being a plan B because, hey, yes, you can make a living out of it, but you also want to live a comfortable life. Like now, look at this period. I know it's uncertain for everybody, but it's really hitting hard for musicians and guys who the only way you can't work from home. Like working from home is not an option because you'd make your money when you go out there and play. Okay, so I studied public relations in school, so that's an avenue that I might just venture a lot more in the near future. Not to say that I'll sideline music kabisa, but it's just something to support. I feel like for me personally, the way I want my life to go, I'll need something else to support my music. So apart from that, what else do I do? This is a very interesting question. I actually need to find something else because what I may want, I feel like I might end up doing is not in the house. Fortunately, now we are locked in, so I'll have to find something. But yeah, I'd love to do, like, I want to start martial arts. Like, I want to do.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, I thought of boxing, that's a really dope sport. But not to fight, but just to have skills.
Yeah.
Muay Thai. Yeah, but I guess now because of everything, it's been put on hold. But I still feel like I can get online lessons from guys, just have a boxing, the punching bag.
Exactly. Of course, you can do it. Yeah, you need to be healthy, keep healthy, and
I mean, so
I've been eating my face off ever since this started. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. No, it's bad. Sometimes I feel, but I mean, I try. My brother Hatibu bought a skipping rope, juicy, and he skipped for 3 days. And then I just kind of start collecting dust, uko, and I'm like, okay, this is what's happening. So yeah, keeping active is very, very important.
Comes to that thing of keeping healthy, it's not the easiest thing. I also tried doing workouts. I told myself, Sedar, you're gonna be doing 50 push-ups in a day and all these fancy things. Because there's a lot of pressure also from guys on social media. You see, everyone is working out or everyone is cooking. And then that's they're like, okay, wow, thanks. So I tried working out for a couple of days, but all it needs is for you to sleep that one day where you say, today I don't feel like doing it, and it's a wrap. You won't do it again. By the time you've gone back to, okay, let me start.
It's the same with me with fasting in Ramadan. Day 1, I was on it. Day 2, then I was like, Sasa, it's completely, it's fine, I'm in the rhythm. Let this 3rd day slip until today. Constantly, I'm already thinking about food. But the whole house is fasting, so that at least is maybe it will inspire me later. But apparently, money, because also you just that gluttony in you just comes out because you're just sitting there going,
yes.
What do you have to do now? Let me just chew. When you're busy, you kind of keep the hours of eating. But now it's like you wake up at 10, you eat. You wake up at this, you eat. Then you sleep. Anyways, this is also why I wanted to start this, because I haven't eaten for an hour and a half because I'm talking to you. So that's productive. I think that's me being healthy. So anyways.
Wait, how's your family? I didn't even ask.
No, that's fine. They're okay. So I'm here with Hatibu. Hatibu, my brother. And my dad is in Dar es Salaam, which is a bit scary. He's super paranoid. Like when the guy from the office because he's working from home, so they're exempt from going to work because he's over 60, and so when the guy brings him documents to work on, he makes him sanitize each copy. And I'm like, this is interesting. I feel though one of the things that worsens this situation is being alone, and feeling of loneliness and not being around people, and it really fucks you up. It gets you paranoid. It gets you, and then also he's
for all of people.
Exactly, and then now processing that and living through that with that alone. We sympathize with him. There's no exchange daily things to just make you forget So that's another point. It's like it's really important to keep up with people, check in with people, especially those who, like you're saying, they are not at home, they live alone. Yeah, they have major responsibilities like children.
What you've mentioned, by the way, it's something I forgot to mention, and you've hit the nail on the head. Because the other day I was talking to a friend of mine, and this conversation came up as well about how people need to check up on each other. Relationships need to be intentional because people are going through things, and like they said, they lost a friend of theirs, and because they didn't know what was going on, this guy probably depression and all these things because of this moment. Everyone is going through a tough time. So relationships, you really need to have to be intentional at this period and check up on people. I know sometimes you say, "Oh, how can I check up on someone? They've not checked up on me." No,
not the time to be petty, because you'll regret it if someone, you there's that regret of like, fuck, I should have said something.
Exactly. So don't check up on people because they've checked up at you. They've checked up on you, or don't say I will check up on so and so because they didn't. You do it. Just do it because you know the importance of doing it. And it goes a really long way because not everyone is also in that space to talk. Sometimes it's really hard for me to just call someone and say, "Hey man, I'm not okay." So sometimes it makes them feel better when they just receive that random call and they just talk, and then now they're asked, "Are you okay?"
So has there been any like personal detox? Have you been able to, well, on the topic of friends, seen who your real friends are, for example, and
even just before this thing, like even with my friends, because of life, and everyone is just in a different stage in life and just going through battling their own things, whether good or bad, just going through their own things. So I personally know who, I want to believe I know who my true friends are, even before this period. So right now, it's not that anything has changed much, that you have dropped this person as a friend or have dropped this person as a friend. Because I also understand that individually everyone is going through their own thing. So it's not that they don't value my friendship. Let me give you an example. You see, like now, even us guys as Rusinga friends, we are not with each other every day, don't speak to each other every day that much, but when we speak, it's like we never left, It's just picking up from previously on, this and this and this and this. Yeah. Of course there's that thing of you'll be closer to some people than others, but you just pick it up from because we all understand everyone is just in a different position in life. I think I'm learning to value my friends a lot more. Because you have time now to just sit down and just and then I think also I love the fact all these apps have really changed the game, but then this is the first time I'm using Skype. I've never used Skype. Usually I use these other apps like Google Duo and stuff like that.
Are you reading anything? Are you watching anything?
Oh yeah, it's called the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah. How is it? Are you not giving a fuck anymore?
I'm learning not to. and I thought it's an excellent book because but then sometimes it's actually just good to say, by the screwed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, I'm an overthinker. Like, for me personally, I think it's a battle I'm fighting. Because it also limits me from doing a lot of things, one. Two, you spend so much time in your thoughts, and sometimes, again, our thoughts can be our own enemies, So, by reading this book, sometimes it's made me... Of course, it's not easy to just say, oh, today I'm an overthinker, tomorrow I'm not going to be an overthinker. It's a process, and it's progressive. So, with that book, the few chapters I read made me realize, yeah, okay, maybe I overthink some of these things. I dwell so much on what someone might have thought about what I did. You see, so even when you go to my Instagram page, like, there's a lot more I should have posted. I'll give you an example. There's a lot more content I should have posted when it comes to my music. But I haven't. And I think that's because of overthinking. Constantly saying, is it good enough? Is the video quality good enough? Is the audio quality good enough? But then, like, yesterday I posted a video, because I was just like, whatever, man, yo.
I saw it. It was beautiful.
Quality, those... Oh, thank you. So, I'm just like, you know what? These are things like, if it's quality audio, video quality things, those are things that can be worked on. So we shouldn't kill ourselves saying, man, it's not good enough. Man, this is not good enough. Because it hinders us from a lot of opportunities. Things just pass by because we can't make that immediate decision. On the plus side, I think overthinking is good because we want to, like, even as an artist, you want to put out something that's perfect. So you think about it and you're able to seal a lot of loopholes. The only problem is now duration. How long will it take? And that's the reason why I've not released like Sedar based music because of some of those things. This thing of overthinking. Just like, oh man, is it good enough? Who will the Kenyan audience, will they appreciate this thing? But when you listen to other people's stories and who they've just taken their own path, and a lot of them just say, you know what, I just decided whatever, I'm going to produce whatever, I'm going to release whatever content, whether people consume it or not, it's out there, and I've done my best. Whether I like it, at the end of the day, not everyone will like your art anyway. So I think it's important for me. Reading some of these things is just making me realize that, okay, you know what, whatever, let me just put this thing out.
It's true. I think with time, I kind of started telling myself, like, what does an online profile mean to me? Maybe this is just like an online album you get to share. And if I had this physical album at home, I would put everything that I love, that I'm proud of, and that I think is cool there without any fear, right? And when guests come to my home, they, you know how like it's a thing, they come and you put those albums on the table. I don't know, maybe this is like a 1999 thing, but like we just have albums, and when guests come, they're like, you are so cute. Yeah, exactly, this thing. I try to tell myself to take my online presence the same way. It's really for me and for my memories and what I value and what I see. Of course, I'm not going to share everything, but in my creative, like it's my creative album, in my creative prime or my creative time. Gradually, I stopped overthinking that much. And then also, thank goodness for stories, because stories just die after 24 hours and you can choose So, I mean, it's also a good way for me to let out things that I don't have to keep. So I think that's why I also really like that social media aspect of things for me as an overthinker. Anyways, I can feel it in my gut already that like this Sedar world, this Sedar music, be such an awesome thing to just hear. But of course, everyone has their timing and their processing and all these things that they're working through. So I just hope even if it's not on Instagram, maybe you do like a private release somewhere. It would be really nice to hear It's really just about, like, creativity is just like being intrigued by how someone else in a different part of the world works in their minds, like what they see, what they hear, what they, that's, it's all about that. And if you can get like even 5 people being so interested in finding out more about how you think, there are other people in the crowd just making noise and being judgmental, I don't think you remember them. I think they're given priority at that time because it's such a new thing. But I think in the long run, in retrospect, when you're looking at this thing that you created and loved, you kind of remember only the good reception of it. So I think
I get what you're saying. One thing that's been amazing is one of the reasons why I also like how I do my music or how I record is sometimes I sneak in and read some of the comments that people have written, and I don't know, maybe I'll share some of the links of some of the music of some of the songs I've played on, and you read the comments and you're like, someone says, hey, that bass line is so hot, hey,
of
this
course.
line is so, and you're like, but of course you can't say anything, so you just say like so it really isn't, like, for me it really has been encouraging that people respond and like, wow, it's not a bad job after all, you know. So I'll share some of the music that I've played on.
Yay, that's wonderful. That's good.
Yeah.
And also, what's the purpose of making it? Aren't you making it so people can hear it? Who are the people? There are those ones that are waiting for it or haven't heard it yet. I mean, I think it's that saying of people don't know what they want until you give it to them or you show, like, you can't say that because this is trending or because people are liking this type of thing, then that's the only thing they like. But they didn't know that thing existed before those guys showed it to them, right? So they also will just discover you when you bring yourself up. It's like, why is it that in our dreams, in our minds, we're thinking about people responding to our things, and yet we hinder ourselves from showing those people that thing, you know? If in your head you're imagining people responding, then you must take it to the people. If it's a private thing, because also someone else later had advised me, he said, you know, there are some things you should just write for yourself. Right? There's something great about writing for yourself or creating just for yourself, and it's just your thing. And later on, I had seen it with other artists where they just have this prized possession, whether it's visual art or installation artists. It's just for them. But that was just for them. When they were creating, they did not think of an audience or people, and that's fine. That fits that idea. But if you're thinking of people responding it and talking about it and analyzing it and critiquing it, even saying shit about it, then you have to bring it to them. That keeps me going when I'm overthinking. Does not mean that I don't still overthink. But
same.
But at least I've gotten better with the creative things. I think I overthink a lot of personal things, but with creating is okay.
I like what you said about that thing of it's important to create something for yourself, and I think that's how I've always, like, when you listen to the stuff I'll share with you, like, I didn't play those bass lines or guitar lines that you're thinking this is for this audience, this is for this audience. And it's one thing I also picked up from Blinky, because for me he's like a mentor, music. And first of all, you need to enjoy what you've done. Enjoy what you create it so you can enjoy it. Be your own consumer first. And every time, like, we record stuff, like, we enjoy it and we bump to it, and then you find, okay, other people are also digging the stuff, you know. And what happens is you want to constantly impress yourself. So you end up creating something amazing because it's for you. You made it in that, you know, this is it. And for me, that's how I've always created. Like, when you listen to the stuff I've done, that's how I always think of it, and the rest can dandia.
I also want to ask you one final question. Where does the name Sedar come from? Because I haven't heard it from. I don't think it's a very common name. It's a beautiful name. I mean, I was like, Sedar, like, What? But I don't know any other Sedars.
So there are different meanings. Like initially, I don't think even my folks knew what it meant. There's like, so I was named after Leopold Sedar Senghor, Senegal. Funny enough, he was actually a poet.
Yeah?
So it was artsy. When I was in high school, I think someone asked me, and I made up a story. I said, in Tizedi, it means a place of cool. Was it cool waters? Or I said something, but it was related to TZ, and it was something nice. I can't remember what it was about. But it was made up.
Yeah, definitely. We do not have that word.
Yeah. I've heard different people saying it means king, or something. Also, it means one who will not be shamed. That was West Africa or something like that. But I'll check it out again and then I'll show you. But the one I know for sure is king. Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's a beautiful name. I just want to say thank you for joining me today. It was so great.
You.
I'm glad that you're in the music industry. They're lucky to have you. I can't wait to hear all these ideas that you're coming up with. And let's keep in touch. Like, I don't want to just talk to you here and then unanisahau. So. Okay, good.
Tumerudi, let's keep talking. This has been amazing.
It's been really cool. Like, if I hear you're being too silent, I'll just like disturb you. So
no problem, yeah.